Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the Richie and Rogue show. Yes, of course, where the conversations are sharp, the questions are real, and the debates never pull their punches. I'm Richie.
And I'm Rogue, and today we've got a very special guest joining us all the way from the United States. He's a political commentator known for his straight-talking analysis, his willingness to challenge the mainstream narrative, and his no-nonsense approach to national and worldwide events.
That's right, Rogue. He's been making waves on podcasts, live streams, political panels across the Atlantic, and today he's here to give us his take on the global political landscape, including what's happening in the US and how it affects the UK and why 2026 is shaping up to be one of the most unpredictable political years in decades.
So we need to welcome to the show the most wonderful and the most incredible Don Keith. But
Guess what?
He's late!
Yes, that was a great introduction.
He is late.
Yeah, he's just WhatsApping me now, actually. We're live, we're on air, but just to say, hey, everybody, welcome.
Welcome. How good is it to see you? Yeah, he's late. So he's running on US time and we're running on UK time, but we're actually quite prompt today.
Yeah, we are. 1 minute past 3, because you had to do your makeup, didn't you?
No, I was waiting for Don Keith.
You're waiting for Donkey?
Don
Keith. I was waiting for the donkey, and I thought that's a bit weird, anyway.
I'm not calling anybody.
So how's your week been anyway? I mean, it's Sunday.
My week has been good, actually. Yeah, you've got a bloodshot eye.
I
You
know,
okay?
I'm tired, I'm really tired.
Why are you so tired?
I don't know. I didn't get much sleep last night. I was tossing and turning. I just couldn't. You can't rest at all, and you just in that moment, you just can't go to sleep. I don't know what it is. Was it a full moon last night or something?
It's been a full moon, super moon for the last 3 nights because you have 3 days before and after where it can affect you.
Is that true? Is it? I didn't realise that. I thought it was like...
So some people may have found that they've actually not been sleeping properly, or some people may have found that they're super tired to go with the super moon, and some people may just not be affected at all. It's called lunar, isn't it? So it's the lunar cycle, and that's when the lunatics come out. Are you a lunatic?
I think that's a lunatic thing, isn't it? Because I've never heard of that before. I didn't know you lose sleep over a full moon. I didn't realise that. Yeah, any of you, our listeners or our subscribers watching today, do you struggle to sleep during a full moon? It's not part of the poll, by the way. It's just a question, isn't it?
I do all the time. Even as a kid, I used to suffer. Literally struggle. Yeah.
Really?
Where is Don Keith?
I don't know. Actually, what we'll do is we're going to go to this story today because you posted something. Elon Musk did, actually, didn't he?
Yeah.
What's going on with X anyway? It's all over the place. The algorithm is messed up. People are complaining about it. There was a time when for those of us who believe in free speech, where you could just it went out viral. And now it seems as if things are being suppressed. I mean, what's going on, Elon? What's going on, baby? Is that the American accent then?
Baby.
What's going on, baby? We want to know what's going on. Right, Don Keith is messaging. The 3 bubbles are going on the WhatsApp. But anyway, let's go to this story, Rogue, shall we? This is a tweet by Elon Musk. Do you want to read that? So,
free speech has not been banned in the UK. Yet we will arrest anyone that says it has. This is a meme, a mockery. And Keir Starmer is there basically saying we have free speech. We clearly don't have free speech. And the point is, Elon is now retweeting it, re-Xing it, because it's a tweet, re-Xing. I mean, we haven't changed that word, have we?
No, you posted a video the other day because the EU fined Elon Musk £102 million. I mean, it's all to do with the blue tick verification. So I remember the blue tick, it was normally for celebrities or public figures or MPs, etc. Then they opened it up to the great British public, and anyone could have a blue tick. And literally people are buying it and impersonating others, which is not a great thing, is it really?
It's not great, but it's all to do with freedom of speeches as well, isn't it? It's like literally the EU are silencing a lot of things. And in that, I would say that Elon is coming back with a vengeance.
We've been impersonated, haven't we?
We have been impersonated in some uniform.
We have indeed. Yes, we were dressed up in German military attire, shall I say. It was quite. You look good in grey. We did say that. We were going to set up a fancy Christmas party like it, but we decided against it because, of course, it's not something we would subscribe to. Just while you're on, just to say a huge big thank you to all our subscribers. We got lots going on. Tonight's show, I got to tell you, this is a short show today, right? But tonight's show, Rogue, isn't it? Is going to be phenomenal. So you don't want to miss tonight at 8 p.m. It's your weekly fix. your weekly dose of the Holy Ghost with Rogue and Richie. It's going to be fantastic. So make sure you tune in tonight.
What do you mean, information?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I got excited. I saw the Holy Ghost and all that. You know what I mean?
The pastor's coming out.
Yeah. The saint and the sinner is still in me, really. We got so much more to tell them because we've got some exciting developments. We were going to wait till the new year, weren't we, Rogue? But
no, we were. But you decided to go against the grain and just do your wild thing.
I was taking advice from someone who's very experienced, very knowledgeable in that world, and he said to us that we should do it because it's the right time to do it, because Christmas, everybody winds down, everyone's at home with a glass of mulled wine and a mince pie, and of course they're on their phones, they're watching us right here, right now.
I actually want to know, do people drink mulled wine?
I
actually love warm mulled wine, but I also like Baileys. What about eggnog? Because I saw that Don Keith was actually drinking eggnog whilst putting his Christmas tree up. Yes.
Well, it's
quite British, isn't it? Or is it British?
He's been over the UK quite a few times, isn't he? In support of his friend Tommy Robinson, our friend of the show as well, Tommy Robinson. He's been very supportive and at his own expense flown over here and covered a lot of the stories, isn't he?
I think it's incredible, actually. And I want to know the questions that I have for him. They are here. They are ready.
I know.
I am raring to go.
And as we're looking down, I'm looking at my phone. So I'm on WhatsApp, and he's messaging, and he's just taking ages to me. Don, if you're watching this, just hurry up with a message, mate, so we know what's going on. But he's a good friend. He's a good bloke, He really is.
Don's lovely.
He is. And I can't wait to have him on.
I like his attitude.
Well, we were going to talk about this chap, weren't we?
Good old Trump.
Yeah, we love a bit of Trump.
Some people love him. Some people hate him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's like Marmite, isn't he? You either love him or you hate him. I think he's amazing. I'd love to have Donald Trump as the Prime Minister over here. I mean, to be honest, I'd rather have a donkey in charge of the government the way Keir Starmer's doing things.
Oh, my goodness.
And we got some comments coming in from many of you. Hi, Rogue and Richie. Nice to see you. Good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon, all.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
Hey.
We've never done a Sunday afternoon before, have we?
We haven't. We do the Sunday evening. So we're doing, well, you've got double trouble with us today. So you've got this little episode, and then you've got us at 8 o'clock tonight. So I might have a break actually in between and actually come in at 8:30.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Don's just texted me and messaged and give me his bio. I should get on the show, Don. We're going to have to call him. We're going to watch a video in a few seconds, actually, which is him with Tommy Robinson. And while we cut to this, we're going to make a call. I'll phone him now. Let's have a look. So here we go, guys. Stay on with us. We'll be straight back. Watch this video. This is when Don Keith was with Tommy Robinson after his court case the second time in London.
London morning with my friend Tommy Robinson on our way to court. Tommy, yesterday, one of the things that shocked me, I heard these police officers, they were just stepping all over themselves with the things they did wrong when they detained you for this terrorism charge. Two of the things actually I heard that they did, and the reason that they decided to hold you on terrorism legislation, one, that you were driving alone, the other that you bought your ticket there at the end of the tunnel. Those are the two of the main reasons they decided to hold you as a terrorist. What did you think about that?
Do you know anyone who knows me as well? I don't book anything, do I? So I message them, book this, do this, because I don't go online and do anything. I just drive places. So if I was getting a ticket for something, because that's all it was. I drove to the port. There's a little thing you go to, and you buy your ticket. That's not suspicious, is it? How's that suspicious?
Yeah, it's not.
And then you're driving on your own. I'm always on my own.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I was actually delivering a car, and they didn't mention the car again. It wasn't my car. I had the logbook, had the owner on the phone, ready to talk to them. They didn't want to talk to him. Didn't want to look at logbook. They didn't care about the car. It was all nonsense. So they said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm just delivering this car to south of Spain and coming back in 2 days."
One of the other things I witnessed yesterday that I was shocked by in the courtroom, we saw your confrontation, which is very famous now because it's all over Twitter, with the reporter from the BBC, Daniel Sanford. Now, one of the things the public may not know is that myself, Ezra Levant, and the rest of us, we were sitting directly behind Daniel Sanford and some of the rest of the left-wing media. We saw them scrolling our Twitter. They scrolled my Twitter, they scrolled Ezra's Twitter, they scrolled yours. And then we saw them, after scrolling our Twitters and seeing that we were tweeting there.
They said that I was tweeting, because my solicitor came over to me and said, "Look, someone's reported that you're sitting in here tweeting because there's tweets going off of your feed." I said, "Well, I'm not tweeting, that's other people tweeting. I ain't picked my phone up." So that's him.
Yeah, we saw him, after they scrolled, we saw him get up and go to the court clerk and the prosecutor and tell him that the rest of us, other journalists, were live tweeting. Now, how is that any semblance? In a democracy, one of the defining characteristics of a democracy is a free press. How does that make you feel to see the press in your country now telling on other journalists so they can't report other citizen journalists?
They've done it for a specific reason. If you read the reporting, which I've read now, the reporting of the mainstream media, they haven't highlighted any of the unlawful things the police done, any of the real outrageous things, like they made a decision within 30 seconds to detain me under the Terrorism Act. They're meant to question you. So, which he says he questioned me in his statement, but then when you see on camera, it's 30 seconds. Yeah? So he just asked me where I'm going. Yeah. So there was nothing suspicious. He said he acted suspiciously. How can I act suspiciously? He asked me one question. Yeah? But then they don't want the public to get any of the information that you, Ezra, or other citizen journalists were putting out there, which is embarrassing for the police and embarrassing for counter-terrorism and embarrassing for the government. So they want to control the narrative. So how do they do that? And they shut everyone else up.
Oh, well, there we go then. And there's Trump there. Don't start with the thing again, Rich, on the technology side. Well, there we go. That was Don Keith, who we've just spoken to off air while we watched that video. And we got the times mixed up, Rogue, didn't we?
Well, I didn't. I had nothing to do with it. I don't like it when you include me in your time errors.
Well, I thought when we do things, it's we, not I. So I was just being inclusive. You like the word inclusivity, don't you?
I do like the word inclusive, but not when you get any things wrong.
Oh, here we go again. She's been picking me all week, folks. Earlier I did say we come on air, right? She was taking notes and she tends to talk with a pen like she's stabbing me. I said, can you do it off air? Because there'd be liability if you do it on air, love. So you didn't. Put that pen down now, yeah.
I have put the pen down.
Yeah, well done. Thank you, my love.
It's safe.
Going back to your week then, so what did you do? Because you had some time with family this week, didn't you? You had some time off because you've been really busy.
Really, really busy. And I've just had some really lovely time with my son,
yeah,
who has come up from Birmingham.
Fantastic.
And yeah, it's just been amazing, just having that quality time and just kind of, it's the wind down for Christmas, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Christmas is the most expensive
it is.
Festival.
Oh, it is, yeah.
But
when you got 10 kids between us, I got 5, you got 5.
Yeah,
that's 10, not the same person, obviously. That would be right weird. That would be really strange. Yeah, not
you
the
have
same.
Your own 5 children. I have my own 5 children, and that is a beautiful gift. However, when it comes to Christmas, it is really blinking expensive. So what is it that you guys do for Christmas? I want to ask this question because I think that like family tradition has kind of changed over a period of time because phones are introduced, you're watching TV, you're watching your Christmas shows. What is it like? Have we lost that bond with our family during Christmas? Because I used to play, I don't know if you remember this game, Blindsman Buff. Do you remember it? You literally would put...
I remember that.
You'd put something around your eyes, right? Yeah. Like a scarf. And then you'd have to basically walk around and then they'd have to find you. So you'd hide and they'd have to... they'd have to find you. Then we used to play Picture Me, then Articulate. And we had a whole host of like board games that we'd all play as a family because it is really the only opportunity that you can get to actually have proper time together.
Mm-hmm. What other board games do you remember? I remember
Twister.
Yeah, I didn't like that game.
I loved that game.
That's not good for your bones, surely. I mean, you
twist in
all kinds of shapes.
Yeah, but you could have fun. I had like at the parties when I was playing Twister.
I can imagine. Yeah, we shan't go into that. Was it anointing oil you're on about on the mat?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Let's move on quickly then. Look at some of the comments coming in. Our friend here is saying, Dan, we'll miss the show later on tonight. Just don't forget we're live at 8 p.m. tonight. As I'm off to church, we'll have a wonderful time in church. Please pray for us when we're in church. Pray for the show as well. Rogue sat on the left, not to the suffocate Richie with her lovely locks.
Thank you, my wild
very kind of you. Who is the painter? Well, that's sponsored. We were sponsored.
They're beautiful, aren't they? Yeah. This is Abigail Humphreys.
Yeah.
And these are all art. Sand
actually
art.
Made of sand. It's very impressive, actually.
It is incredible.
So one's called Equilibrium and the other one's called Completeness. Do you remember which one's which?
I think that was Equilibrium and that was Completion.
There we go. So a little lesson in art there. Not my finest hour, I know. But nice page behind you. People are commenting as well. Hi, guys. We are waiting for Don Keith's menu. Afternoon all. Martin, nice to have you on. JC as well. Thank you for returning, guys. We really, really do appreciate all of you. And of course, our regulars are on as well. please share the broadcast as much as possible. We'd really appreciate that. And we're going to get our guest on in a few minutes' time. So what have you been up to this week, apart from obviously family things are important? Did you go for food last night? Always a good question. Did you go for food last night?
I don't know if I did.
You can't remember.
Do you know what?
This is not menopausal, surely.
Well, it is, yeah. I can't. Do you know what? I think I have short-term memory. I literally, like, I could be talking about anything before I go to sleep, wake up, and I have no recollection of what's been said.
Do you actually wake up in the morning and have like 100 things running through your head?
Right, ADHD is real, okay? And I literally will start buzzing with things in my head, and I'm like, oh my God, this is really good. Have you seen what's going on in politics today? Have you seen this? Have you seen that? And everybody's just like, whoa, my gosh. And I'm like, boom, 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 100 miles per hour.
Oh, guess who's in the backstage?
I'm so excited.
Should we do the monologue again? Should we do it again?
I think we should do it once more. So
before we bring our
everybody...
guest on, we're just going to do the monologue again. It gives us more practice anyway, doesn't it, Rogue? So here we go. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the Richie and Rogue show, where the conversations are sharp, the questions are real, and the debates never pull their punches. I'm Richie.
And I am Rogue. Today, we've got a special guest joining us all the way from the United States. He's a political commentator known for his straight-talking analysis, his willingness to challenge the mainstream narrative, and his no-nonsense approach to national and worldwide events.
Yeah, Rogue, he's been making waves on podcasts, live streams, political panels across the Atlantic, and today he's here to give us his take on the global political landscape, including what's happening in the US and how it affects the UK, and why 2026 is shaping up to be one of the most unpredictable political years in decades.
You said it right that time.
I did, yeah.
So, guys, please can we have a drum roll and let's welcome Hello.
Good afternoon, Don.
Oh, we can't hear you.
Your mic is not switched on. Your mic is not switched on. Technical issues.
Nope.
I love his set, though.
Set is very cool.
That's the real beef set, that is. You know what? That's like that's his show.
Is that where you
No, we're not getting any sound at all.
Can anybody hear the sound?
Can anybody hear somebody? Ooh, can anybody find me somebody to love? You can hear us because he's looking at us, but we can't hear you
at all.
Oh, 1 second. Hang on a minute. No, our volume's on. Don't try.
No. Go to comments and see if anybody else can hear him.
Okay. Can you hear? Fantastic. Hey, Don. No. No.
Is your volume full? What?
Yeah, it's on full volume. Yeah, I don't understand why we can't hear him. Yeah, you just heard it play to the speakers. Don, we seem to be struggling to get your mic on. Let me just check on the settings here. Mic off, on. Right, okay. No, we got no sound coming through at all.
Can't hear Don yet.
We have technical issues. I bet you muted him by accident. No, I've not muted him by accident. No. Can't hear Don yet. I know we're struggling with the technology. It's Sunday afternoon, folks, and we're struggling with technology. So if you're in church right now, watching this on your phone,
please pray for us.
Okay.
What's happening? Don has no clue.
Don, we don't know.
He's trying to do it his end.
We've got the man, the myth, the legend in the studio, and we can't get this mic working.
This is when sign language comes in useful.
We're so excited.
What?
What's going
on? Can we ask questions via sign?
No, maybe Don, can I suggest you come out the studio and come back in? Do you want to try that? Brilliant.
Perfect.
Cheers, Don, but don't be straight back, folks, right? He's just going to check. He's going to come out the studio now. He's going to come
So
straight
who
back.
can lip read?
Yeah.
Jenny can lip read.
Can lip read. What am I saying now? No, I didn't mute him. He's still
reboot.
So
yeah, exactly. Reboot.
Let me just remove him from the stage. And there we go. Exit, not ban, but kick from studio.
Right. Let's kick him out.
Right. Hopefully, I've just kicked Don Keith out of the studio, folks. Am I allowed to do that? Don Keith. I mean, absolutely. Anyway, we got some questions we're going to ask him, haven't we?
I have got lots of questions, but to be fair, I think I want him to lead the way because, I think he's a really interesting man, and there's just like a whole host of stuff that I'm like, I want to sit on his lap like a granddaughter, looking up at him, just going, "Please tell me all your stories."
He's on his lap. He's younger than you.
Oh well, it doesn't matter. I just want to say,
Dear Jesus, give me strength, Lord. I tell you what. Since doing this show with you, my prayer life has really gone. I'm praying more than I've ever prayed before.
Really?
Yeah, mainly for you.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, just thought
I need all the prayers that you can flip and give.
I'm glad our audience finds it funny as well. Top of our audience, we've got a community here on our YouTube channel. Please join the community because we want you to be part of the journey because we've got exciting things happening next year. We're going to be doing some tours, Rogue, aren't we?
We are going to go and do some tours. But not only that, we're going to have an audience.
We are live audience.
Yes, right here where we are. And you can come see the artwork.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely have a look at it and a peruse at the art. And then you're going to have to listen to us too.
Yeah, rabid on. But live in studio as well. You can ask your questions as well. And it's going to be fine. Looking forward to that. But talking about technology, you're trying to get Don Keith on. I hope we get the technology right for that because we want to broadcast.
Actually, it's for once, guys, we've got it right. Now I will.
Oh, you're doing the we now.
Yeah.
You're doing the we all inclusive.
It will be a we, and it's that inclusivity. But when you get it wrong, timing-wise, I want nothing to do with that because there is such a thing as dyscalculia. Did you know that?
Well, yes, I've experienced it with you. Yeah.
So look, let me explain. Right, I actually got a D in my maths GCSE. Now I was quite disheartened, quite despondent because I actually really, really, really wanted to do a whole lot better to impress my parents.
Mm-hmm.
My D slightly baffled me because I thought that I was a little bit better. So my dad decided to get for me a tutor. And that tutor was a beautiful, beautiful little Italian man. And he used to work with me and tirelessly worked with me for a whole year, right? And at the very end, I was like looking at him like, I am so excited. I can't wait to actually go in for my maths exam. I'm going to please my parents. Guess what happened? He looked at me and he went, Rogue, you're not going for the maths exam because you're a waste of government money. Wow. Do you know how much that hurt?
Is this why you don't like short Italian people?
No, I do not make a joke out of flipping.
Oh, people are short.
Yeah. Okay, let's not go there. I absolutely loved that man, and then my love stopped. Can you believe it?
Here we go. We got Don Keith back in the studio.
I'm not doing that whole
no
thing again. Let's try.
Don, are we in? No. Let's keep him in the studio. Let's have a look. He's going to the earpods. He's going old school. He's going old school, baby. He's going old school. There we go. Oh, this is the thing. We're going to have to get some... let's have a look.
Dun, 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 dun. Come
on. Can you hear us, Don?
Can you hear us?
Do you think
we can't hear you.
Do you think it's Antifa trying to stop him speaking? I don't know what it is. It's not our side, is it? Because we're on. I mean, can our guests hear him? Because
can anybody else hear him?
Let's double check. Let's go to our audio. Just bear with us a second, folks. Audio. Yeah. Okay. Speakers are working.
Yeah, everything's working.
You there? You there, Don? Yeah, we're all good this end. Yeah.
What about now?
Let's get it started. Let's get it started.
Oh my goodness. Jeez.
Oh my gosh. We got so many people jumping on as well on X and you're on YouTube as well. Don, welcome to.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that warm welcome and the red carpet. Wow, that was quite the red carpet.
Absolutely. And why
not? Is that okay?
Well, we can tell you the weather over here is shocking right now. It is absolutely freezing cold. It is pouring down with rain and it's not letting up. What's the weather like where you are?
Very cold. A lot of snow. We got like 8 to 10 inches of snow. So
wow.
Yeah, it's going to be a white Christmas here, I think.
Wow. Oh. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know. That's the singer of
That's funny. I posted X yesterday. We were decorating our tree with ornaments, and I was actually singing that song. I posted it on X yesterday. I don't know if you saw it.
Oh, I saw that, and you're drinking eggnog, apparently.
Eggnog, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Well spotted, Rogue. Well spotted,
You guys drink eggnog? Do you guys do eggnog?
We do. Absolutely.
Good. That's good stuff.
British, but is it not?
No, I think it's American.
No, it's a tradition here as well.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, we're not speaking about traditions today, are we? But we want to know a little bit about you, Don, don't we, Rogue?
Absolutely. I've never met you before, and I think it's just really, really exciting to get to the knowing of who you really are and what makes you tick.
Yeah, well, I'm just a country boy. I was born and raised in South Georgia. Went to college, college called Georgia Southern University. I got an engineering degree. I've done that for most of my life till a few years ago, and I decided to delve into politics, which I don't know if that was a good idea or not, but I certainly enjoy it. And I kind of saw the way the world was going, the way the United States was going, probably 15 years ago now. And I just wanted to sort of jump into and get into the fray, and save liberty, help save freedom, do what I can on my part, which, I don't know how much I can do, but I wanted to do as much as I can. And really through doing that, on stateside and looking at our politics, I discovered Tommy Robinson, in your country, probably 10 years ago now. I started following Tommy, and I was like, wow, this guy, he's really something. I just really love his fire and his spirit, and he's constantly standing up for freedom and the British people. And his personality, believe it or not, is a lot like mine. I knew if I ever met this guy that he and I were going to be good friends. I didn't know that we would ever meet. I was like, well, I'd like to just sit down and have a beer with this guy. And I started, commenting on some of his posts back in the day, and he would comment. We'd comment back and forth, and I'd say, man, if I ever get over there, we're going to have a beer sometime. He'd like, sure. And then finally, a few years ago, it's been about a little over 2 years ago now, we were taking a trip over to London. We were just going to do the tourist thing, see a bunch of sites, Buckingham Palace, Stonehenge, all those things. I'm sort of a history buff as well. And so, I said, I'm going to reach out to this guy and just see if he's available just to meet or whatever. And I actually wanted to do an interview with him. We were going to do like an hour-long interview. And he said, you know what, man, sure, come on. So went over and met him. We had a Sunday where he invited me to have a Sunday roast, my first English Sunday roast. And we did that, met his family. They were lovely. The whole family was amazing. I gave him you're not going to believe this. I actually have it on video. I have a document. I gave him the first mega hat in Britain. I actually had a hat made for him.
Wow.
The mega hat. And I gave it to him. I said, Tommy, you need to get these going around Great Britain. And what do you know? What do you have? A couple of years later, the mega hat's everywhere. Now, I'm not really taking credit for it. I'm just saying I did give him that mega hat. But yeah, we just had a ball. And, I was supposed to interview him. This is a great story. I was supposed to interview him the next day after we did the English roast. And he calls me up, and that accent of his, he says, Don, I'm sorry, I can't do the interview tomorrow. This Scottish family's called me. It was the family of Chris Donald, actually. He was the first religiously motivated hate crime in Scotland, where 3 Muslims had sought out an English Christian, a white boy, and targeted him for murder. And what they did, they kidnapped this kid and drove him around in a van, stabbed him a bunch of times, and then set him on fire and killed him. Those 3 guys all went to prison, but on the 20th anniversary of his death, his family wanted to hold a vigil. His aunt wanted to hold a vigil to commemorate his death. And the city there in Scotland, I believe it was Edinburgh, I can't remember that exact city, they wanted to hold a vigil. And the government, their local government, wouldn't let them because they didn't want to draw the ire of the Muslim community. They were afraid it would start sort of an uprising. And so the family called Tommy Robinson to get involved. I always call Tommy Robinson the Batman of Great Britain, because when the authorities can't do anything or they won't do anything, people call Tommy Robinson, and there he is. He answers the call. That's just the kind of guy he is. But instead of doing the interview the next day after the roast, he says, Don, why don't you go and spend a week with Tommy Robinson? Because he was going to go to Scotland, do some interviews there, get involved, talk to the authorities, whatever it took to get that vigil going. And then he was going to go to Connectley in Wales to document the hotel there where they were bringing in migrants in a town of like 200 people. They were going to fill this hotel with these African migrants, and the town was scared to death because we all know what happens when you bring in these migrants from Africa. They stalk the women. They have all kinds of problems with them. A lot of these people were being thrown in jail simply for protesting. at this hotel. So I got to really go all around Great Britain with Tommy Robinson. But it's funny because when he offered me that opportunity, I looked at the missus and I said, "Well, should we go see Stonehenge or should we go spend a week with Britain's number one most wanted outlaw?" And so we very readily chose to go spend a week with Tommy Robinson, and from there the rest is really history. We've become great friends, and I just can't say enough about him and his team, and really the British people who've been so gracious to me and welcomed me and my family into Great Britain. I've participated in all of the United Kingdom demos. I've spoken at all but one. And everyone's just been so gracious to me, and it's been just really a great time in my life, and I'm very thankful for it.
Oh, well, yeah, it's amazing to actually have you here. So, I mean, you were kind of heavily involved in Tommy's recent court case, weren't you? I mean, how did you find, how are you finding like the law and like the justice system here compared to America? Like, what's the difference? What were you up against?
Well, there's a really big difference. The Marxism and the globalism have really got their claws into you guys a lot more so than they have in America. They're trying here, but we have so many constitutional protections set in stone. They can't get around it. One of the things I often say about Great Britain is you guys don't really have enshrined in your laws the protections you need to fight like you need to be able to fight. Even though you're doing a hell of a job, your people are doing a hell of a job doing what you can with what you have. But, we have the First Amendment. We have the freedom of speech set in stone. You guys don't have anything like that set in stone, enshrined in stone in Great Britain. Especially when it comes to speech, the idea of free speech actually started with the Greeks in Athens, where they had this idea that any male speaks in the General Assembly, what they call the ecclesia, should be able to say what they want to say and pose their ideas without any repercussions. So Great Britain sort of adopted that throughout. I believe it was the Bill of Rights in 1689 that gave you guys parliamentary privilege. Yeah. No one actually even posed the idea of free speech until Milton, when he wrote the Areopagistica in 1644, which what he wanted to do was get rid of this idea of prior restraint. I don't know if you know what prior restraint is. Basically, where the government has to approve anything that comes into print or publication in England at the time. That the Licensing Act of Britain that made that against the law to print anything without government approval, that law lapsed in 1695, I believe it was, and which sort of gave this by default generalization that you could start printing stuff now without government approval. And then, of course, you had the Bill of Rights in 1689, which sort of adopted that Greek premise that you could speak in a democratic assembly without any prosecution, which is how that transferred over to the parliament, which, by the way, your parliamentary privilege is a direct ancestor of our speech and debate clause in Congress. That's where we got it. So that we have a lot of, relations between your laws and our laws that we sort of adopt. That's why, I say you guys sort of created this cradle of free speech, and what we see as the modern Bill of Rights. We sort of adopted a lot of those. I think we just perfect them and enshrined them a lot better than you guys did. But then you had guys like John Wilkes come along, who sort of tested that whole idea of seditious libel, where you couldn't criticize the government and all those things. He was I think they issued like a general warrant and stormed his house because he criticized Henry III, King George III, I believe it was, over the Treaty of Paris, because he had, they said he had endorsed a false speech. He didn't even mention the King George, but they issued this general warrant and raided his house. He ends up having to flee to France and all these things. But that whole case where the judge threw out that case against Wilkes was the really the basis of where we get our laws that protect us against illegal search and seizure and things like that. So we adopt a lot of your laws, but I think you just don't have them enshrined enough. A lot of people say, well, we have the freedom of speech enshrined in the ECHR. Well, not really. The ECHR does say that free speech is a human right, but almost an article or two later, it introduces this entire laundry list of reasons why you can, or why authorities can restrict your free speech, which makes no sense at all. They're very subjective. Basically, if you hurt anyone's feelings, then you lose your right to free speech and they can prosecute you. So your laws are a lot weaker there when it comes to protecting your citizens' right of free speech than ours. Like I said, we have the First Amendment enshrined in our Constitution. That's our ultimate document, right? The buck stops with our Constitution. So we have Marxist district judges and federal judges who try to get around as much as they can. But when it gets to the Supreme Court, if it doesn't jive with that Constitution, that First Amendment, then it gets thrown out, and the citizen always wins in those cases. And then if the First Amendment doesn't work, ultimately we have the Second Amendment to make sure that it does, which is our right to bear arms.
Yeah, we know the right to bear arms. Yeah. If you don't like it, we got that. John, I think the key thing for you guys is you have a written constitution. We don't have one here; it's uncodified.
Yep.
And although we have from the Magna Carta era and obviously in more latter years, and Blair changed all that in 1998. The Human Rights Act, the ECHR being part of that as well, which I'm opposed to. I think we should repeal anything he did. And I think your constitution protects and enshrines some of those things like the freedom of speech, doesn't it? And once we have it here, I mean, we were talking about Keir Starmer earlier about the freedom of speech, actually, before you come on air. And Musk has tweeted him, actually, because, he promotes himself as being a prime minister who believes in the freedom of speech, but he's been locking people up for tweets and hurty words. I mean, this was the tweet that went out. Free speech has not been banned in the UK, and we will arrest anyone who says it has.
And that was retweeted by Elon. You know, he's actually seeing for what he's worth.
Yeah. See, our opinion is different. That we say ours is actually opposite. That we say, I may not agree with what you say, but I'll defend your right to say it. So really the opposite. And it really kills me when Keir Starmer comes into the Oval Office with J.D. Vance and President Trump and lies to their faces and says we have free speech in the UK, because it's a lie. He knows it's a lie. Everyone knows it's a lie. One of the things, I guess, one of my criticisms, I love President Trump. One of my criticisms of his is, I don't guess that's really a criticism, because I know how he tries to be diplomatic, even though oftentimes he's talking with people he knows are full of shit. he will say, "Oh yeah, I think he's a good guy." He says that about Starmer all the time, but I think it's just a way of his being diplomatic, because ultimately
He didn't
Trump
say about
wants
Khan,
to.
did he?
No, he
does not like.
He does not like the mayor of London. Steve.
No, he does not.
No, and
he's
he
made
doesn't
up
really have to
everything.
be diplomatic with Khan, because Khan's not going to be really in control of any of the import-export relations between the United States. So Keir Starmer's the guy that Trump needs to get along with. And so I think that's why he is so gracious to so many world leaders that he disagrees with, is because of that diplomacy. But for him to sit there in the Oval Office and say that you have free speech when everyone knows you don't. I'm just waiting for Trump to actually start addressing that, because he's really the only one in the administration, because a lot of other folks around him, Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance, a lot of folks have already addressed this tyranny that's happening in your country right now. Even recently, they're trying to fine X. That's big news this week. They're trying to fine X because they won't adhere to your laws. They're trying to fine I think it's $140 million or pounds, maybe.
Because I think it's
102 million pounds here.
Okay. They're trying to fine him because an American company won't adhere to British law. And your authorities there, I'm trying to remember which one it was, said that they could arrest American citizens for anything we say in America if we were to come to Britain. I don't know if you remember that, but I do.
I remember. I can't remember who said it right.
Let's see what kind of, I have a lot of friends who are scared to go to Great Britain right now. I tell them, look, really? If Great Britain, I said, you should come and they should start arresting us, because if we go to Great Britain and they start arresting American citizens on British soil, you understand what kind of international incident that would cause. And I can tell you, President Trump's not going to like that, and his administration's not going to like that. So I don't really think they're going to start arresting American citizens, because it really would be an embarrassment for Great Britain to do so. Now, if you go over to America and you try to incite violence and stuff like that, nobody should be able to come to your country and deliberately incite violence. I would say, that would be a reason. But if you're just coming over to express your opinion as an American or as a citizen of another country in some other country, I don't think that country has a right to arrest you. So.
When you were in court with Tommy, weren't you kicked out at some point? Didn't they think that was it you? Was it Ezra?
It was Ezra. Ezra Levant got kicked out because he didn't. They didn't have even though he had his independent media credentials, he didn't have them on him. The judge did kick him out on the first day and wouldn't allow him to tweet. He was basically in the public forum with us. which is right behind the main chamber there where the press and all. Actually, the press were sitting right in front of the glass. We were sitting behind the glass, so we could see what the press were doing. We actually could see the press scrolling our X feed, mine, Tommy's, Ezra. They were scrolling all of our feeds, and then they went up and reported it to the judge, and the judge came and they shut us all down. It was actually the court clerk, I believe, who came and shut us all down. But he shut Ezra down that day, and Ezra petitioned the judge. He came into the courtroom and said, "Look, I am a credentialed independent media reporter. I have my credentials." And the judge was fair, I would say, that day. He said, "If you bring me the credentials, then I'll consider it." Ezra got him the credentials overnight, and he did allow Ezra to start tweeting again. He did not, however, allow Ezra to come in and sit with the rest of the mainstream or legacy media, as you would call it.
Wasn't there some things outside the court when Tommy confronted? I think was it a BBC journalist or S4?
That was the guy we saw get up and go and talk to the judge. About us all tweeting back there. He got in his face and confronted. I can't remember the guy's name. It's slipping my mind right now.
Yeah, but we got the video about you actually. Is in the bus, isn't it, after the court case? So because I know you were covering a lot of it with, so we're just going to play this video and we'll come back and have a few words about it. This one. Bear with me.
London morning with my friend Tommy Robinson on our way to court. Tommy, yesterday, one of the things that shocked me, I heard these police officers, they were just stepping all over themselves with the things they did wrong when they detained you for this terrorism charge. Two of the things actually I heard that they did, and the reason that they decided to hold you on terrorism legislation, one, that you were driving alone, the other, that you bought your ticket there at the end of the tunnel. Those are the two of the main reasons they decided to hold you as a terrorist. What did you think about that?
Do you know anyone who knows me as well? I don't book anything, do I? So I message them, book this, do this, because I don't go online and do anything. I just drive places. So if I was getting a ticket for something, because that's all it was. I drove to the port. There's a little thing you go to, and you buy your ticket. That's not suspicious, is it? How's that suspicious?
Yeah, it's not.
And then you're just driving on your own. I'm always on my own.
Yeah.
So and I was actually delivering a car, and they didn't mention the car again. It wasn't my car. I had the logbook, had the owner on the phone ready to talk to them. They didn't want to talk to him. Didn't want to look at the logbook. They didn't care about the car. It was all nonsense. So they said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm just delivering this car to south of Spain and coming back in 2 days."
One of the other things I witnessed yesterday that I was shocked by in the courtroom, we saw your confrontation, which is very famous now because it's all over Twitter, with the reporter from the BBC, Daniel Sanford. Now, one of the things the public may not know is that myself, Ezra Levant, and the rest of us, we were sitting directly behind Daniel Sanford and some of the rest of the left-wing media. We saw them scrolling our Twitter. They scrolled my Twitter. They scrolled Ezra's Twitter. They scrolled yours. And then we saw them, after scrolling our Twitters and seeing that we were tweeting there.
They said that I was tweeting, because my solicitor came over to me and said, "Look, someone's reported that you're sitting in here tweeting because there's tweets going off of your feed." I said, "Well, I'm not tweeting, that's other people tweeting. I ain't picked my phone up." So that's him.
Yeah, we saw him, after they scrolled, we saw him get up and go to the court clerk and the prosecutor and tell him that the rest of us, other journalists, were live tweeting. Now, how is that any semblance? In a democracy, one of the defining characteristics of a democracy is a free press. How does that make you feel to see the press in your country now telling on other journalists so they can't report other citizen journalists?
They've done it for a specific reason. If you read the reporting, which I've read now, the reporting of the mainstream media, they haven't highlighted any of the unlawful things the police done, any of the real outrageous things, like they made a decision within 30 seconds to detain me under the Terrorism Act. They meant to question you. So, which he says he questioned me in his statement, but then when you see on camera, it's 30 seconds. So he just asked me where I'm going. So there was nothing suspicious. He said he acted suspiciously. How can I act suspiciously? He asked me one question. But then they don't want the public to get any of the information that you, Ezra, or other citizen journalists were putting out there, which is embarrassing for the police and embarrassing for counter-terrorism and embarrassing for the government. So they want to control the narrative. So how do they do that? They shut everyone else up.
Incredible. That was you covering the story there in the UK. And I know you've visited the UK quite often. I mean, I want to say one thing. You mentioned at the start there, you came to Llanelli. That's my hometown. So I'm glad Tommy brought you to Llanelli.
I hear it.
Yeah, and you have to say Llanelli with a lot of
That's
spit in your
fitting.
mouth. Yeah,
I can't do it, man. You know, Dan and Stan, they always laugh at me because I can't say Connecticut. I can't do it. I can't do
and
it.
you experience a good old Sunday roast as well. Not an English roast; it's a Sunday roast.
Wonderful.
Like Welsh lamb. Yeah.
What meat did you have?
I'm not a big chicken guy, so I had the beef.
There we go.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
You should have tried the Welsh lamb. You can't beat a Welsh lamb with mint sauce. Fantastic.
I like the lamb with. I've had the lamb with mint sauce. I actually had it last time I was over. I sure did. It was good. I liked it, and I don't like mint, but I actually like the mint sauce. So
yeah. So I do want to ask you then, Don, if I may. First of all, thank you for your activism in coming to the UK and supporting the freedom of speech and democracy.
My pleasure.
It's so encouraging for us because sometimes we're fighting a battle, and we are in the majority, the silent majority. We know that, but it's so encouraging to have people like you come here and advocate on our behalf and fight for the freedoms of which many people have given their lives for, and it means the world to us. And I just want to ask actually this segment of the show, the relationship between American politics and UK politics, between Trump and Starmer. I mean, what does it look like in the US? How do the US politically, the landscape, perceive the UK?
Well, I think it looks to those of us who are in the know, who actually get on social media and we're actually interested in what's going on in other countries. It looks like the UK is turning into China. It really does. It looks like pure communism is taking hold there. I mean, look what they've done. And if what I told you at the beginning about when I talked about, for instance, jury trials, they're doing away with jury trials for any mid-tier offenses now, so that only criminals who will get jury trials are people who are convicted of heinous violent crime like rape and murder and things like that. The reason they're doing that is because juries overall are less likely to convict for things like speech crime. What I was telling you earlier about when the prior restraint, and then the Bill of Rights came out in 1689 and gave your members of Parliament immunity for anything they say. Well, the general populace started sort of viewing that as an overall theme for society. If they can have these freedoms, well, we should too. So at that point, juries became less likely to convict people of speech crimes. So what's happening now is your government, your Marxist government, the Labor government wants to get rid of jury trials for mid-tier offenses like speech crimes. Now, given the fact that 12,000 Brits have been arrested this year for non-violent speech offenses, what does that tell you? If they're doing away with the jury trials where they have the most likely chance of being acquitted for a speech crime, and they're moving it straight to a judge's determination, one of these Fabian Society Marxist Fabian judges will now be determining the fate of British citizens who are arrested for just speaking their mind online. And if you look, I mean, I don't think it's a secret. I think it's supposed to be a secret that most of your judges are Fabian Society, heavily Marxist leaning. They want to redistribute wealth, and they don't believe, they don't want any people to have free speech and things like that. So they're much more likely now to see convictions for these citizens who speak their mind and oppose this Labor government. That's what this is all about. So you're really venturing into this territory where not only do you have the Marxists trying to take over your country, you've got Islam trying to take over. Now, these two are working together to oust the patriots, the conservative patriots in the UK. It's an enemy of my enemy kind of thing, because the Marxists and Islam are diametrically opposed to each other, right? Yeah. Because Islam is never going to tolerate. Now, once they do get rid of the conservatives, just hypothetically here, they get rid of the conservatives and the patriots, and they have no opposition there. They'll go after each other because Islam is never going to tolerate the LGBT community. They're never going to tolerate this trans ideology. And all of the things that really are antithetical to Islam. And then you've got the Marxists who are never going to tolerate Islam, because Islam, when it comes to religion, is more conservative than Christians. They're more devout. They pray 5 times a day. They believe in the nuclear family. They're never going to be more devoted to the state than they are to their God. And we know that the Marxists and the communists, they don't tolerate that. They want the state to be the God of everyone. They don't want a nuclear family for people to be devoted to and things like that. So those two entities, while they are seems like they're on the same team now to try to oust the Christians and the patriots, eventually if they do ever weed us or you guys out, then they're going to come to blows themselves. So it's really going to turn into total chaos, given the fact, especially the Marxists and the communists, the ultimate goal there is to get rid of not only just to get rid of capitalism, to eventually get rid of government altogether and get rid of the state, which really amounts to anarchy. If you get rid of the state itself.
I think we've been seeing actually recently a real kind of rise in the Christian faith. And we've noticed that more and more people are so opposed to the Islamic faith coming over to try and take away what is constitutionally ours. And we are seeing it, and it's exciting because people are saying, look, we actually have to have this as a Christian valued country. Are you seeing that in America, or is it just over here at the moment that it's a kind of a reactive thing due to, what is actually happening here in the way that it's happening?
Yeah, well, especially since the death of Charlie Kirk, that has really lit a fire under a lot of Christians in this country. So, in the immediate or the recent in our recent history, we're seeing an uptick in Christianity. But for so many years, it's been dwindling all across the West. So we've got a lot of ground to make up for. There's never been a dwindling in Islam. When I say they're more conservative when it comes to their religion, their devotion to Allah and their prophet and all of these things, they really are. If you just look at it, they don't back down. Whereas we have a lot of fair weather Christians in the United States and other Western countries where we have not been devoted as we should have been in the more recent years. So we've got to get back to that. I think we're getting back to that since Charlie Kirk and all of that stuff happened. It seems like there is this revival going on right now in the United States, and I think across the West, and I see it in the UK too. I see a lot of things. I do pay a lot of attention to what's happening in the UK. Probably half of my followers are from the United Kingdom on social media. So I do see more of an uptick and a drive towards Christianity than we've seen in recent years. The question is it too late? And I hope not. I don't think it is. I don't think we are in the danger that you are. First of all, we're a much bigger country. We can absorb other religions a lot easier than you guys can. Plus, if it ever comes to that, we've got the Second Amendment to protect us. You're never going to see.
I'm getting worried about you, mate. I'm getting worried about you, right? Because you keep referring to the Second Amendment all the time, right?
Well, you know what? Let me tell you this: you're never going to see 250,000 Christian young girls get raped by Pakistani Muslims in the United States because fathers have guns and brothers have guns here, and we don't tolerate that kind of crap. One of the big mistakes that ever happened in the United Kingdom was a lot of your gun rights. You guys gave up your gun right, your pistols. You can still have rifles and things like that if you go through the Olympics, really, to get a license to own a gun in the United Kingdom of any kind. So we always have that Second Amendment in our back pocket if necessary. So I don't think we're in as dire straits as you are. You're much smaller nation, but you also are, as I tell a lot of people, the UK is really the bellwether for the West. While you're not that large geographically, you do have 80 million people, which is big enough to tell us if Islam takes hold, if the UK falls to Islam or Marxism, we can look at that and say, okay, we got to dial in, we got to lock in, because it can happen here. If it can happen in the UK, it can happen in Germany, it can happen in France and Sweden. We're already seeing it, especially in Sweden. They're in probably more trouble than you guys are in right now. But the United States is so big. I don't think we're in the immediate danger that you are.
I think the big difference is the leadership that we have here in the UK under Keir Starmer. I mean, there's some people like him. I mean, I know it's hard to believe, but there are. But when you look at what he's done since he came into power in July last year, a lot of people are very concerned over the trajectory of the country and him as a leader. And I know that the relationships between him and Trump have been quite strained. That's to put it mildly. But also the fact that Trump, he leads with a fist of iron. I don't mean that as a dictator, but someone who is a real leader. So when he says, for example, I'm going to stop visas and migrants coming from other countries immediately, he does it. So, for example, there was an article out in The Guardian, and they said of him that Trump vows to slam America's doors shut as heaps scorn on immigrants. And I think he banned on this list here 19 countries. Just to give the US some breathe-in space, really. So 12, is it 12? Is it? I got my eyes on 12 countries. But he's one of those guys who, he believes in America, make America great again. It's the MAGA movement, isn't it? And we don't have that kind of spirit here, Rogue, do we?
they're mute and they're against us. I mean, you know, Anglophobe is a word that I put out today. It literally feels like Keir hates us. And, you know, the way that he behaves, you know, people are just like, what have we done? Like, what is going on? But obviously there's a big agenda at play, and not everybody understands that bigger agenda. And it is really infuriating for people that are awake trying to say, this is what's happening, wake up. You know, protests are, you know, they are working to an extent, but they are not like fulfilling what we were wanting to achieve. We've got a guy, a really dear friend of ours, Richard Donaldson, who is doing the Great National Strike, and he is wanting to sort of basically do a complete strike in February where we don't pay for anything. So kids don't go to school, nobody goes to work, and we just don't pay a thing out. So we actually bring the government to its knees on a financial level and an economic level. And it's basically repaying what Rachel, you know, is doing to us and the cabinet there. But, you know, what do we do?
Well, I think going back to the point that you were raising earlier, I mean, they got the Second Amendment over there, so they can take up arms quite easily, but we don't have the means to do that. Not that we would advocate that on the show, but my point is, I think the relationship between the US and the UK is interesting, because what happens in the US normally filters its way down to the UK. Well, we've always been like the poodle to the US, right? And not a lot of people like that, because if you look at us historically, we've been an incredible country across the whole of the Commonwealth. And I think we used to prosper, our industries and everything else. And we've lost all of that. We've lost our identity as people. We've lost our history. It seems as if we're apologizing from where we've come from rather than celebrating where we've come from and building on those strong foundations. And going back to the leadership issue, I think the problem we're facing right now, we have a spineless prime minister who doesn't actually know what it means to lead. I think he's the worst prime minister. His polling record, you posted on Twitter, on your TikTok the other day, his polling right now is some of the lowest since records began when it comes to a prime minister. And I think we need a change of guard. I know that you're supportive of Advance UK. I know that, Don, we've spoken many times before. And yes, it was a great day. We're going to cover this story tonight, by the way, folks, so we're not forgetting it. I know many of our watchers here are asking about Advance UK. We know that in Manchester yesterday, our party leader, Ben Habib, announced that we're now a registered political party.
I saw that.
More than tonight,
I saw that. Yeah, that's
so,
great.
You know, things are changing. I think we can affect change, but I think one of the things you're mentioning, Rogue, is the kind of the big agenda that's out there. You know, we talk about the 2030 agenda, the globalists and the elites, these international bodies with their tentacles in our domestic politics. We are fighting against the system, aren't we? We're fighting against this agenda.
Yeah, you're the biggest thing you got to do right now is separate yourself from the EU. You got to get that out of the the ECHR. As soon as you get out of that stuff, and you're no longer beholden to Europe. That's going to be the whole reason that Brexit hasn't taken off like it should have is you're still bound to the ECHR. You're still beholden to all of their rules on immigration and the immigrants you have to take in yearly and all of these things that they're demanding of you. So until you get rid of that and get a government in that says no more, like Trump, you think that Donald Trump would ever adhere to any of that crap from the ECHR that's just killing your nation? So until you have a government that's willing to break free of the European Union, I don't know how anything's going to change unless you get somebody like a Ben Habib or a party like Advance UK into Parliament that starts making the rules and promoting patriotism across your country instead of this destruction, this self-destruction, this suicide, the suicide mission that the entire West seems to be on right now with these liberals, with the exception of Hungary and Poland. The rest of the West in Europe is, they're headed downhill fast. This next election may be your last that you have to save your country if you don't elect the right people and put them into office. So
I call the EU the angel of death.
The angel of death.
It is. It's just awful.
Well,
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Well, we're supposed to have left, didn't we? I mean, we didn't, do we? We still got kind of regulations, and we're still tied into it, and so we didn't get Brexit done really. Farage left the playing field way too early. Always didn't deliver for the British people, and we were left with a complete mess. And I think a brand new political party like Advance UK is saying the things that need to be done. Ben Habib has shown the way. He said, look, we need to repeal and reverse a lot of these acts that were put into power by Tony Blair in the 90s. And I think it makes a lot of sense because those of us who follow politics for 2 decades can see what's happened to the country. And it's been not because of just Labour, it's been the Conservative government just as much as the Labour Party as well. The uniparties and Reform have become part of that establishment. They don't offer nothing different, although they're on our side of the argument, some would say. But if you looked at Farage as a political operator, he's a political chameleon. He changes so much. And I think policy from top down is not the way we should be governed. It should be a democratically run party, which Better be set up for the college and everything else, with the freedom of speech being like our First Amendment here, democracy, sovereignty, which is so important to us, because you mentioned, Rogue, that the problem with us is we're not sovereign. I think, Don, you mentioned as well, we still have these tentacles of the EU in our domestic politics, and we don't want them there. We want to govern ourselves, don't we, Don?
That's exactly right. And what this ultimately means, if you look through history, if you look at France, if you look at the United States, you look at communist China, it all will end, if it doesn't get solved with diplomacy, it will end with revolution. It always does, because the people will only tolerate so much. The good British people, they're sitting back right now, they're taking it up the yin yang, if you know what I mean, from their government, the taxation, the immigration, and this torment that their government's putting them through. They'll do that for so long, especially for white Christians. We're very tolerant people, but we will only tolerate it to a degree. And when it comes to that realization in the end that our children are going to be slaves either to a government or physically slaves to another religion, ultimately that will lead to a revolution. So you're either going to get a new party in power that's going to correct things diplomatically, or you're going to have a revolution. It's one of the two.
Yeah, absolutely. So my son has asked if I can ask you a question, so I'm going to ask it. So
Sure.
Do you support Trump running for a third term, even though it's against the Constitution?
I would. How old your son?
He's 30, actually.
13. Well, the fact that he's interested enough to ask a question like that, you should be a very proud mom. You know what? Our Constitution doesn't allow a president to run for a third term. I would love to have President Trump have a third term, but ultimately, I'm a constitutionalist. Now, there are ways for him to get around that if he were to, because really you can't run for president, is what the Constitution says. It doesn't say you can't be president a third time. So if he were to say if he were to be vice president, it says you can't be elected president for 3 terms, what it says. So if he were to be vice president, and then the vice president were either just to turn over the reins to him, or something were to happen to the president, then the vice president becomes president. The way our structure works. So although he couldn't run for president a third term, he actually could technically be president a third time. So I would be all for him having a third term. I think but honestly, I think that after this term, he just needs to take a break and live his life and enjoy himself. He's done so much for us and for our country. I don't want to see the man go through the torment he goes through every day. I know for him, I think he enjoys it, because he's that guy. He's got that personality where he can take anything and move forward. But I would just like to see him sort of enjoy the rest of his life and bring another heavy hitter in, like a J.D. Vance, or someone with that same aptitude for the job that President Trump has. There's a lot of people out there who are just as patriotic as President Trump, but he has this moxie that we've never seen before. So it's going to be hard to find someone like that. I think J.D. Vance would be pretty good. I didn't even like J.D. Vance to begin with. I wasn't sold on him, but he's really sold me since he's become our vice president. Marco Rubio, I think, would be another one. He was a rhino at one time. He's, I think, turned around in the more recent years, but he's another one I think would be good. But I'd like to see President Trump just enjoy the rest of his life. He deserves it. He's done so much for our country. I don't, as much as I would love to have him be president a third term, and I would support him if he were president a third time. Yes, to answer your son's question short, I would support President Trump. Yes, I would. Do I want to see it? No, I want him to go enjoy his life. He just deserves it.
Yeah.
Well, he's watching this, so he'll know the answer.
What's his name? What's your son? Oh, never mind. I won't ask his name. You probably don't know. What is it?
It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just before, I know time's almost up. I know before you came on air, we got the times wrong, didn't we? But I don't want to go.
Well, we did.
I've got a burning question.
Yeah, no. He did. Do you know what? This is the argument that I had. I was like, do not blame me.
It was my fault.
Hey, I tried to get him to let me come on at 10, and he switched it. So.
Oh, right. I know, right. So
I apologize on his behalf.
We've been having this. Yeah, I've gone all red now. It's just a bit of pressure.
Bless you.
We've been talking about Candace Owens over here. Now, Candace Owens has, look, the way she pitched herself maybe a few years ago, she's kind of morphed into something completely else now. What's going on with Candace Owens over there, Don?
I think Candace just needs the hits. I think she needs the clicks to keep herself relevant and keep herself going. Candace is a very smart person, but she's 100% wrong on this Charlie Kirk assassination conspiracy hoax. She was invited to debate it live. She accepted it first, and then she turned it down, which I believe has a lot to do with the fact that she can't control the setting in a live situation. She won't have the notes. She won't have the teleprompter. She won't have somebody talking in her ear telling her what to say. So she's going to be on the spot a lot more if she debates this topic of Charlie Kirk and Israel live than she would in her comfortable studio where she has it all set up and geared to help her shine. So her ideas just don't hold water. I've debunked a few already on my show. If you've, I don't know if you've seen any of them, like for instance, one of the ones where she says, "Guys, I've got this breaking news for you. There were 12 Israeli cell phones on the campus the day Charlie Kirk was shot." So I did a real quick Google. Yeah, there's 200 Israelis that live in the town where Charlie Kirk was speaking. She didn't bother to tell anybody that year. So it's supposed to be some vast conspiracy that there were 12 Israelis on the campus when Charlie Kirk was shot. Yeah, of course there were 12 Israelis. There are 200 that live in the area, and Charlie Kirk was pro-Israel and pro-Jewish. So, yeah, they wanted to go see Charlie Kirk. I mean, what's the big deal there? So that's just one. There was another one I talked about. But her and Ian Carroll and all these folks, it's all about this shock. You remember the shock jocks from the 90s, like Howard Stern? That's what these people have turned into. They've turned into the new shock jocks. So they get all this attention and get these people, and they get the clicks, the likes, the engagement on all their all their posts by coming up with these wild conspiracy theories that just do not play out in the end. Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk. We're going to find that. The FBI has already found that through a mountain of evidence that they've spent months combing through. And then what are these people going to do who spouted these wild conspiracy theories when it comes out that it was just this deranged kid who had a transgender girlfriend who was offended by Charlie Kirk that was indeed the assassin? All these people who supported these wild conspiracy theories like Candace Owens and the Ian Carrolls and this Ryan Matta guy, these people are just they're going for the clicks, and they know what they're doing. So and that's what happened to Candace, which is a shame because I used to love Candace. So many people love Candace. She's very smart. She came from, it's hard to get out of the Black community and leave the Democrat plantation, as they call it in the Black community, and become a conservative, and to break free of that chain of the Democrat plantation where you've been espoused these ideas your entire life by your parents or grandparents who've always voted Democrat and had these Marxist leanings and the welfare state and all those things they believed in. It's really hard as you grow up and as a kid, and that's all you hear as a kid, to leave the Black community and become a conservative. You got to be really smart to do that. So the people we have in the Black community, like the Candace Owens and the Ben Carsons, the Larry Elder and the Thomas Sowells, people who left the Democrat Party and became conservative, if you'll notice, they're all highly intelligent people because they did the research and they formed their own opinions, and they left that whole Democrat Party behind that their family tried to promote within them. So yeah, it's sad to see Candace go down this road. Hopefully she'll come back and admit she was wrong when the truth does come out. That's what I would like to see, because I don't dislike Candace. I still hold her up here as far as her ability to debate, her ability to absorb knowledge and things like that. She's a really smart cookie. I just don't. I think this was just such a bad turn for her, and I don't know why she chose to do it and ruin her reputation the way she has. So wish she hadn't done it.
Interesting.
There's a bit of paranoia in there as well, isn't there? It feels like there's just this kind of like whole take around it, and everything's kind of aimed at her, but when it actually isn't, is it?
Well, I think she has a chip on her shoulder because the way she left the Daily Wire with Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro's Jewish. He's one of the founders of the Daily Wire, and I think the way she left after she criticized, I don't have a problem with anybody criticizing Israel. I really don't. I love Israel. I consider them one of our major allies. I don't have a problem with criticizing any country. That's what freedom of speech is all about. You should be able to criticize any government. Israel's not perfect. America's not perfect. We all have our faults, but to go down these conspiracy theory roads and just accuse Israel and blame it all on the Jews, for every single little thing that happens. I just think that's a bad look for anyone. It's really anti-Semitic. It is it really does harken back to, if you look at what happened in Nazi Germany before the war, what was going on with the Jews and the oppression of the Jews. That really is it looks like the beginning stages of that in America, with so many people on the right, on my side of the aisle, looking at this whole, behaving in Nazi fashion. So I don't like to see it. I don't like to see any group, even you guys are gonna be surprised. This, Islam. I dislike Islam. I don't want Islam as in America. But I don't think all Muslims, every single Muslim, should be hated because they worship, Islam or anything like that. So we all have a right to our freedom of religion, and I just think this bashing of people because of their religion.
Yeah.
Now, if you deserve it, you deserve it. You know what I mean? Like if you're 250,000 ripping 250,000 girls, you deserve it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of religion, we're coming up to Christmas. You've just had Thanksgiving over there in the USA.
Yep.
So you get 2 Christmases, you lucky lot, over there, over the Atlantic. So I'm very jealous. So what? Because you like to ask people the question about Christmas, don't you, Rogue?
What is your family tradition? Like, we play games over here, so we have something called Blind Man's Buff, where we put something, and you have to find them in the buff, and then you have to do in the buff, not quite in the buff.
No.
That's an odd Christmas game. Let me tell you,
that's definitely going to make the edit.
We're live in the nude.
And then you like to have a mulled wine or a Baileys or an eggnog. So what is it that you do on your Christmas Day?
Well, we usually get together. We do play games. I'm a big fan of Trivial Pursuit myself because I like history and trivia and stuff like that. So we play a lot of Trivial Pursuit. There's not really one certain game that we play as a tradition, but we all get together. We have a Christmas dinner. Usually, a lot of people do turkey again. I'm not a huge turkey fan. I do turkey for Thanksgiving. I like a deep fried turkey. If you've never had a deep fried turkey, that's the best way to eat it.
Never heard of that before.
Oh yeah, they make these huge vats, and then you light a fire and you fill it full of peanut oil, and you let the peanut oil get to a certain temperature, and you drop the whole turkey in, like an 18-pound turkey, drop it in, and you leave it for about 60 minutes, sometimes over, depending on how much the turkey weighs, and it comes out with this crispy, fried, skinned turkey, and the whole thing's juicy throughout. The fried turkey is the best way. Deep fried turkey is the best way to do it, 100%. So you got to try that sometime. But we do turkey or some other meals. I like to do, I'm a big ribeye fan, so I like to do a big, nice, juicy steak and shrimp sometimes. I don't always do the traditional turkey because I get kind of tired of turkey. And then we do the eggnog. We sing, we sit around and listen to Christmas music. We put the cookies out for Santa and all that good stuff. And then, we play usually gospel Christian music on the speaker, on the Amazon Alexa. I think it's the one we use, or Siri. I can't remember. But yeah, it's a tradition every year.
Fantastic. Well, that's great, Don. Well, listen, we might not see you before Christmas, so if we don't, we will miss you from myself and Rogue a very, very happy and happy Christmas and a prosperous new year. I hopefully get to see you in 2026. And when you're over next, you must come into the studio as well. We'll have you in the studio, I think. That'll be great.
It'd be great.
Are you guys going to the December 13th celebration? The UTK celebration, December 13th?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
The Christmas. Yeah, the Christmas card service on the 3rd.
Are you going to be there?
Yes,
are you coming?
No. Unfortunately, I can't make that one, but I would encourage everybody to go because I'm sure it's going to be great.
So those
the UTK team are doing it.
For those of you who don't know, on the 13th of December in London, there's a very special Christian carol service happening that Tommy Robinson and his team have put together. 13th of December. You can find more details on our X page and, of course, here on our YouTube channel. A huge thank you to our guest today, the wonderful Don Keith.
And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you guys, if I don't see you as well. Thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure.
Don, we look forward to seeing you in 2026, my friend. You have a wonderful time and have a great Christmas.
Thank you, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Well, that was great having him on.
Oh, he's just
I was just about to finish the whole show there, but I thought we'd just talk for a bit while we're here, and we might as well.
Yeah, what a lovely guy.
He's a great guy, isn't he?
Just really easy, relaxed, lovely to talk to. But he's so good at what he does. A proper activist.
He is.
I love that. And he actually helps us over here fight for our freedoms. And that's so important, that we have our allies, that we have our friends, because if people can see what's really happening here, And let's face it, we're in it. We're right in the middle of it. And whilst we're kind of going through it, and either we become, sort of blind to it, or actually angry and frustrated with it, to have somebody come along and say, do you know what? This is what's really going. We're actually over here supporting you. How amazing
I'd rather go over there and fight for them and have a deep fried turkey. I mean, it sounds lovely to me. I mean, the food in America is much better than over here. It's crap over here compared to America. I mean, the meat is certainly, which obviously you don't eat meat, obviously. But
no.
For those meat lovers and eaters out there.
Because most of, and this comes on to another thing actually over here. Most people are eating halal meat. Mm-hmm. Like literally.
How have you just jumped to an halal story?
Because we're talking about meat.
Okay.
Most people in England, and what's happening at the moment is most meat is halal.
Yeah.
But it really is. And actually,
is that why you don't eat meat?
No, I don't eat meat anyway. But actually, if I knew that, I certainly wouldn't eat it.
So you don't eat meat anyway?
No, I don't. But I would not want to eat it if I was eating
I know,
meat.
because when I've had to take you out to restaurants before, it's very difficult, because you like fine dining, which I agree with.
I do.
But more importantly, like the menu for people who don't eat meat, it can be very challenging, my love, can't it?
It absolutely can. But the point is, if I did eat meat,
you just hard work. You just hard work, love. That's what it is.
Thank you.
I'm trying to say it in a nice way, though. Because
but telling me that I'm hard work is not really in a nice way, is it?
You have high standards, love.
That's true. Mm-hmm. Now I do like to eat well.
Yeah. Don't mention Burger King or McDonald's, though.
No, I will not tolerate that because it's just fast food and it's got like loads of crap in it.
Yeah, I know.
Loads of crap, and I just don't understand why people eat it. To be honest.
Christmas this year, then, what are you going to do? Are you going to have a vegan turkey?
Well, I don't know. No, I certainly am not. Listen, I don't understand why people can't get it in their heads. This is how it goes. I have everything on my plate, everything the same as you, just minus the meat. I have the sprouts, I have the red cabbage, I have cauliflower cheese, roast potatoes. Oh, and my favourite, Yorkshire puddings.
Oh, I love a Yorkshire pudding.
Do you know what? Ooh. Doused with gravy, red wine gravy, may I add.
Can't beat it.
My gosh, just pour everything on that.
What's your typical Christmas? There's mulled wine, there's Baileys. What are the most popular ones?
Is it like a snowball or ava something? Ava something. Sure. I can't remember what the word is. An
avocado?
No, my mom used to drink that.
Avocado?
No, it's like ava something. It's like a snowball or something like that. Yes, I do. Like fish. Actually, the only thing I'll eat is salmon. Sorry, it's a comment. Yeah, coming up. Yeah. Advocat. There we go.
Advocat. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's part of the snowball. I don't know, but my mum used to drink it, and that's a Christmas thing. But I love mulled wine.
I do like a glass of mulled wine.
Warm, really warm.
Yeah, it has to be warm, doesn't it?
Oh, do you know what though? I'd like to go to a Christmas fair, but I'm actually now scared to go. What? Everybody's just getting rammed.
Oh, what happened in France? That was terrible. That was really tragic. 10 people lost their lives, apparently, didn't they?
Horrendous. 10 people have lost their lives because of people ramming through the Christmas fair.
I think it's becoming, do you know what it is, right? A lot of these things have been happening before. It's just mainstream media have not been covering it. And they've decided to do it now. So it's getting worse. The extent of it is. I appreciate that. We've seen that because of certain demographics have changed. But councils now are putting ball ads in places in cities, aren't they?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I just said.
I'm not disagreeing.
So they're having to do that.
What I'm saying is,
and that's really, really sad that it's come to that point.
Absolutely. So you're not going to a market then, in other words?
Do you know what? The German Christmas market in Birmingham, I used to go to. Not for the sausages.
You got
the little gifts. No, I don't. But I really like the little gifts, and I just like to have a look. Oh, they do nice mulled wine as well, actually. So I really enjoyed that. But I don't know. I don't think I tell you what,
someone's on the comments there. Is it Matt Glindur? Oh, friend Matt Glindur. Hi, Hello, Matt. Nice to see you. Paula, nice to see you. Martin Phillips, Buffon. Nice to see you. Paula's on here as well. We got our regulars on. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new to our channel, follow us on X at Lansingers and at Adam Tays, and here on YouTube as well. Thank you so much. We're looking forward to spending some time with you actually in the new year, because we're going to be doing a tour at Rogue, aren't we?
We are indeed. Watch out. Watch this space. We're coming.
We're coming. And we've done an Sunday afternoon here. We've never done this before. Not a Sunday afternoon. We've got the live tonight. Don't forget to tune in at 8 o'clock, okay? Because we're talking about what happened yesterday in Manchester.
8 or half 8. I said half 8 earlier on live, and you said yes.
No, because every night, every Sunday is 8 p.m. We've never changed it, have we?
Do you know what? They're going to be bored of us. Look at our faces,
I know.
twice in one day. Come back at 8.
Yeah, come back at 8 because we're talking about Advanced UK. We're talking about Liz Truss's new podcast.
Yeah.
She's really going.
She's on fire.
She is.
I like
really
her,
is.
actually.
We're
She
gonna
got done
be-
over massively.
Explain.
Let's not talk about it now.
Oh, right, okay.
We're going to talk about it later.
Okay. And wait, David Lammy.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about him and scrapping the juries in England and Wales.
What
Obviously, we're
a
going to talk about
nutter.
that as well. And there's a few bits and pieces on the show. I got some surprises for you tonight on the show as well.
No, I don't. That
Can't
worries
tell you
me.
what it is
That worries me.
because at the moment I'm having to produce the show for tonight, and so I've got a few surprises for you. I don't like to show you till we're on air to see your natural reaction rather than prepare you. It's always better.
I am now nervous. I might not come on later, guys. So lovely to see you. Thank you so much.
Where are you going now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
So,
Joking.
thank you for tuning in, and it's been an absolute pleasure having you on a Sunday afternoon. You've probably sat there, just had your roast dinner, as Don was mentioning. You're laying on your sofa, and you're watching us on your phone, or watching us on the TV screen, or you're on your iPad or your computer, wherever you're watching us. Thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate it, and we can't wait to see you tonight at 8 p.m. Share with your friends, family, and colleagues. Let them know we're live tonight, talking about all kinds of different things. We haven't got any guests on tonight, though. We're just doing
it's just us, I'm afraid.
Just us, I'm afraid.
But we will probably clip what we've just done with John Keith and include that too.
No, that's work, love. I'm
Yeah,
not,
we're gonna
I'm
do
not,
that.
I'm not
Anyway,
doing
I'll
any
do it.
editing. You can do it. I'm not doing
I'll do
any
it.
editing. I'm done with editing. No, I'm not doing it. Do you want an argument?
Yeah,
Do you
absolutely.
wanna
Seriously,
an argument?
I just
Do
really
you want
want
an argument?
I
Do you
actually
really want
just
an
want
argument?
Yes, I
You
do.
seriously want that on air?